Alright, believe it or not, all of this up here, we haven't done anything to it. The first couple of days, we did come in and spritz the seeds a little just to keep them damp during germination. After that, we just let it go. That's because of the self-watering adapters that we're using. We'll talk about that later. This is cool because at tough times like this, everyone at least deserves the knowledge of how to grow their own food. So what I want to show you is how you can take a small space, this is only 3 foot wide, and show you how much you can grow on there. We've got empty space here. There's a reason for that. We're going to talk about that. We're doing something down here. And we've got a lot of stuff growing right here. Now before we explain all this, we rearranged it a little bit because while we were getting this set up, we had a couple storms go by Florida, and this is why I love the Kratky system. We had a couple of downspouts left. We had pak choi in it, and we took those, and in about 2 minutes we brought them inside. Just set them up here, let them sit for a couple of days. The storm passed, and then in 2 more minutes we took it back out. So growing with the Kratky method without having a bunch of pumps and filtration, you're growing in small containers that you can move, and you can't do that with a traditional garden. So the stuff outside that's in the ground just got wrecked, but the stuff that we brought inside, we're able to move back outside, and we still have some plants growing. And those plants that were in the Kratky containers came from microgreens like this. So that's all part of the system. You get to start growing food, you can harvest this, you can eat some microgreens, and you can take some of these, pull them out that easy, and this is what we put into the larger containers and grow them out. So you can see how easy that can be, right? Set him down there for later. So this is going to be great for people who don't have a big yard or don't want to do a traditional garden. Maybe they don't want to do all the weeding and tilling, or they can't do it physically. This is good for people who live in apartments. Some people have a balcony where they get a lot of sun on one side. This would be perfect. Some people don't have a balcony. This right now is inside of our garage. There are no windows. The door is actually on the other side of this wall. So this area right here has no windows at all. It's basically like a basement. We have just a couple of lights here, nothing fancy, and then the fluorescent overhead lights. And we're doing a couple little experiments here with the sand. I'm going to explain that. I think we've overcome the major obstacle, and I'm really excited about that. We still have some with the clay pebbles. So whatever you're growing with, I'm going to show you that there's many options. A lot of people are like, what's the best? Which one should I do? I want to show you just options because some people can't get clay pebbles. And some people will prefer this, or some people might prefer using the lacquer or clay pebbles. So we're going to show you a bunch of different options. And of course we've got some more peas growing here, and we'll give you a tip about those. Right? So let's get into it. Now first off, we've got a 3-foot galvanized steel rack. It's 12 inches wide. If you have a little more space, these come in about 16 or 18 inches, and you can go up to 4 feet. These are sturdy, and you can see we're growing a whole lot. What we're doing here, we've got this empty rack down here. We've got a little space up here if we need to also. So what we do is, while our microgreens at this stage where you can start harvesting some of them, you got some more coming right behind of it, we'll go ahead and start germinating some more right now. That way you keep the cycle going over and over. And just like we said, you can pull these out, put these into larger containers. You might want to use one of these spaces instead of a couple of your Kratky containers. If you got room outside, you can set those outside. So while these are growing and we're having fun with them, we're harvesting, enjoying them, while these are growing, we're going to go ahead and get some more set up today. Now you guys have seen us set up the self-watering adapters mainly with glass bowls so far, right? We've got different ones. This is the one that goes with mason jar, Coke bottles, and this is our refillable one. We're basically using this one and these up here. Now we started working with glass because we had the glass bottle. This is bioplastic, this is glass for the people who are concerned about using plastic. Now where we're at, they're stopping the recycling. So all of our plastic's just going to go to the landfill. So we figured we might as well put it to good use. Now I just use Dollar Tree containers here, but you can use just about any plastic container that you got. So the plastic container worked good on there for a number of reasons. This works really well. One thing is the glass gets really heavy, and then if we did use sand and then water, it got extra heavy. So something like this is a little bit lighter, And also we figured out something else. With the glass, basically you don't have any holes in there, right? When we filled it with sand and we filled water, I thought that basically our adapter water would stay right about there, right? Now with the sand, when we piled the sand up higher, we thought the top of the sand would stay dry, but the sand wicked all of the water up. I thought the sand would let the water drain. So we thought it would be down here and then we'd have the top layer of sand was kind of dry. So no matter how high up we put the sand, the water would push up and the sand would wick it up. So the sand was always really wet right up on top. And the deeper your bowl was, the more water and the more sand you got in there and the heavier it got. Now with this, what we did was about an inch up from the bottom, I drilled a little hole. In fact, I drilled 2 holes on each one of them. And what that did was that allowed the water to drain out, but it didn't wick all of it out. You can still see there's still water up in here. So far this experiment's working really well. You can see all of these growing. I'm excited about that. Now I like the sand opposed to the clay pebbles for a couple of reasons. They both work, but this is more readily available. You can get this at most home improvement stores. The clay pebble, you have to either go to a nursery or a hydroponic shop, and you can find it online. But this, basically almost anyone can find sand. And the second reason I really like it is it's very easy to clean. When you fill it up with water, you dump this into it, the sand sinks instantly, all the other stuff floats. You just pull that stuff off the top, rinse it out, it's ready to use again. The clay pebbles float, so when you put it in water, the clay pebbles float along with all the roots and everything. So you're having to try and sift them out. I let mine sit in the sun. I let most of the organic matter dry up and then we reuse it. With this, it's really easy. All the sand and organic matter just separate instantly. Now the one reason why I was using these plastic containers too was because some people, when we were setting these up with the glass bowls, to keep the seeds a little damp during germination, I was covering with foil. Just because it was really easy to use, it blocked out the light, and I could set it up on top, and I could take it off when they were germinated, and I could reuse that foil on the next one. I used it about 3 or 4 times each one. Now a lot of people didn't like the aluminum foil idea. With this plastic container, we found some, they're only $1 a piece, and we found some that had lids. And all I did was heated up a little cookie cutter and cut a hole in them. Whatever size would fit the bottle that we were using. So we've got the glass bottles up there. That's what most of them are, like that. And then I got one of the Coke bottles. So that one's a little bit bigger, as you can see. It's not perfectly centered either, right? So we've done this with glass bottles and we've done it with the Coke bottle. So we set this up just like we did with the glass containers, but now we had a cover that we could remove. Got some little red cabbage going in there. And you could use this over and over and over again. And it fit on there pretty good. And as you can see, keeps it damp. See a little moisture inside of there. These seeds can germinate. So I like that. It fits good. It's not all crinkly on there like the aluminum foil. It holds on better because it can snap on. A few times when I did this outside, the wind blew and the aluminum foil blew off of a couple of them. So this will snap on, it holds on it firmly. And as you can see, it worked out really well. Now these up here are with the refillable one. And as you can see, to that point, we haven't refilled anything. You can see that one's still filled up. This one, where these are about ready to harvest, that's still damp in there. We really don't even need to refill that. Now maybe something like this cabbage that takes a little while longer to grow, it's about halfway down, we might have to refill that one. So we'll see. But basically, even if you weren't refilling, this one bottle would probably be enough for microgreens. Now if you want to grow them out a little bit longer, we've got this refillable one. Now this is my Etsy shop. These are on sale. We've got these. We've got ones for mason jars, Coke bottles, all different kinds. And these are on sale. I'm throwing in like free microgreen packets, like this pak choi that you see back here, or the peas. I think arugula too. So check that out. So this is working really well. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Down here we've got bean sprouts going. We're going to have a whole video on that, so stick around. I'll give you a quick sneak peek at it. But I'm excited about that because bean sprouts, easy to grow. They're in the dark down there. You don't need any light. We've got this area and this area here for germination. So when this is going on, now today or tomorrow, what I do is I'll come back in and set up more containers, get these down here, and let those start germinating. Then when we harvest these, we'll be able to take this off, clean those containers, move these guys up here, and keep the cycle going over and over again. Quick tip about the peas, right here. Got these just sprouting. I got one more inside that's already full grown, but that's what you want, right? Bottom watered. When these guys are in here, you want to rinse them really slowly and gently. Don't mix them up and jumble them up. Once they start to sprout, once they germinate and the roots start going down, you want to go ahead and not disturb them very much. Once the roots start going through the bottom, leave a little water in the bottom. The roots will search out that water, and once they're down far enough where they can reach that water in the bottom, don't top water it anymore. Just leave some water in the bottom here. I rinse this out twice a day. There's only about 3/4 of a cup of water in there. Dump that out. I put fresh water in. That's how you keep everything nice and clean. And then the top stays nice and dry. You don't have to worry about any mold issues. So you can see how nice and dry that is in there, right? That's why I love these trays like that. Give that a try. I'm going to try it. I've got some shallow trays, microgreen trays. I'm going to try it on there. But this one you can leave, a good bit in, because once these guys get about this big and you start harvesting off of them, they'll go through like half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of water in a day. So this kind of holds that much. The real shallow trays don't hold as much water, but I'm really liking these. Now when we first set these up, these come with a little humidity dome over the top. I don't use them. I just use a little ramen tray. Some of them I just cut a piece of cardboard. I like to black out the peas, and I just set that on top like that. And that totally blacks it out, so that works better than the humidity dome in my opinion. And I don't bother weighting it. You're going to see a lot of people ask about weighting it. When you weight something, it's to get the roots to push down into the soil. We're not using soil. So I'm not bothered weighting it at all. What we're doing is we're putting water in the bottom and the roots are searching it out. So the roots are going down on their own, and I don't bother with any weights, and you can see the results that we get. So if you're not growing like us with hydroponics and you're growing with soil, you might want to go ahead and weight yours, but I like doing it this way. It's easy. So I'm loving this so far. This is, like I said, with just 3 feet. This is just 36 inches. Imagine if you had spare room, how many of these racks you could set up and how much you could be growing. You could have some set up like this. You could have another one for baby greens. You could have a couple more with your bigger, more mature greens. So that way you could keep it going. You could have this whole thing full of microgreens, eat some of those, move some into the next one, and then start planting some more of this, move that one to the next one, and keep harvesting and keep it going over and over again. You could have a little salad bar factory going inside of a little tiny room where you could hold just a couple of these 3-foot racks. So we're going to keep the process going over and over again. We're going to be harvesting this stuff. Maybe we'll show you all some recipes or how we eat some of them. A lot of people just eat microgreens and sprouts raw or throw them in salads, which is fine. Basil spring rolls. But we also like to cook with them. We like to do all kinds of stuff with them. You can throw them in your smoothies. So we're going to show you a lot of different ways. We're going to keep things going here. I've got another rack where we might take some of these and grow them out into bigger plants and try it on another rack that's about 36 inches too. And we're going to keep this process going over and over and over again all through the winter so you guys can follow along. This we started only about 6 days ago, so you can start growing your own food, and within a week you can already be to this point. Isn't that awesome? Alright, you guys share this with all of your friends. It doesn't matter if you have a big yard or you have no yard. Everybody needs to be growing some of their own food, and this is a simple way to do it. Get out there and lift, inspire, keep on growing, and be the change. We'll catch you next time.